creating the new PlayStation 2 title Ghost Hunter, a team of games developers stumbled on what appeared at first to be a series of strange coincidences. Not only did locations created in the game exist for real, many of the legends and myths surrounding these places mirrored those in the game with eerie accuracy. Intrigued, members of the PlayStation team decided to visit the areas which so closely echoed their own work. To help them research the histories of these so-called haunted places, two experts in the field of the supernatural were enlisted: Kalila Smith, parapsychologist, and Billy Roberts, world-renowned psychic. The old plantation house in New Orleans has played witness to countless dramas in its 200-year history. The property is said to host the spirits of several long-dead inhabitants. Of greatest interest to the team were reported sightings of a sinister child, identical to Jessie Planter, the ghostly girl imprisoned in the De Montfort mansion in Ghost Hunter. As the team arrived, would the ghoulish infant come out and play?
I find that most paranormal experience or activity in old houses is due to a sort of a build-up of energy which creates a photographic image. However, in this house, I've experienced something completely different. I particularly felt something in this corner, as though there might have been a crib or a cot of some kind.
Actually, I got some readings over here on the electromagnetic meter, particularly like right in this area right here.
That's quite significant, isn't it?
It is, actually, and there's a little bit of a drop in temperature as well. The major drop in temperature is in the room adjacent to this one.
But what about down here? Because it seems to be nothing at all.
Nothing. It seems to be right in this particular vicinity, right in here. And it's also, see it high, it drops as soon as it comes near where the meter's getting the most reading.
I mean, I do feel slightly nauseous at the moment. Yeah, so I think that's quite significant.
It's right in here, just right in this area right here.
Yeah, and the other thing is, anybody who sleeps in this room, I'm sure that they would have their dreams invaded by whatever's present in the room.
I think
so. It's really interesting to see what goes on in the next room, because there's a strange feeling as you walk towards the door.
Right, let's check it out.
Okay, let's go. You know, we live in this room, and that's the cosmic mist.
When the team began to test for spiritual energy in the main bedroom, everything, including the filming equipment, appeared to be affected by the strange atmosphere. Batteries drained despite being fully charged, and microphones began to fail.
Now she's draining the battery down.
Can I just follow up, sir? Bill, is your plug still plugged in?
To add to the sense of unease, the team captured an unexplained reflection in the bedroom's large mirror.
Something one mirror here. Oh, is it really?
Really?
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
It's an orb?
Even when the power was switched off, the light continued flickering for several minutes before disappearing. Billy Roberts was in no doubt. This activity was the work of a ghostly child.
She seems to be not malevolent, but sort of mischievous, and I think that she died a very nasty death.
Whatever resided in the plantation house, it didn't want a filming crew present. That much was clear. From the outset, cameras failed, and equipment closed down for no reason. The PlayStation team decided to leave the little girl to play in peace. The USS Seeker is a location which shared many similarities with the sunken HMS Victoria in Ghost Hunter. In the game, the blast of ghostly gunfire resounds as the supernatural soldiers play out their never-ending battle beyond death. The USS Seeker was a battleship used during World War II. After being sunk in a devastating battle which saw most of its crew killed, she was sold and is now used as a museum piece. What nobody expected was that members of the ill-fated crew of 1940 would continue to protect and serve. The Ghost Hunter team went aboard.
As soon as we came into the parking lot and I looked at the ship, I immediately started feeling almost a disorientation and dizziness somewhat. And when I entered the ship, I started feeling as if I had motion sickness, as if the ship was actually bobbing in the sea, even though it is landlocked.
I feel very agitated around this area, and I'm, very, very certain. I know people would say it's obvious, but quite a few people died in this area.
I feel a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxious feeling, a lot of high adrenaline.
For me personally, it was like stepping through some kind of a time barrier.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And watching a replay of the event.
I felt not only the emotions, but I started getting like a flashing, almost as if I was watching a movie in slow motion, of what was actually happening on the ship during the war. There were men running around, yelling, guns going off, the larger cannon-like guns shooting off into the air, airplanes coming over, exploding.
I get the impression, I very briefly glimpsed an officer standing up there.
I got that too.
Shaking his hand, pointing down at somebody as though he was angry in some way. And that's a sort of an active, an image from the past. So there is a lot of anger as well, isn't it?
There's a lot of anger, anxiety, frustration, and it's almost as if the ship itself has a pulse to it.
It's a living personality.
It's as if the ship has taken on that paranormal energy, and the ship itself is alive and breathing.
There is a bit of agitation, which I feel is probably from the people who were actually killed, whose lives were terminated. So, there's a lot of energy around here.
There's a great deal of energy, and it's mixed emotions, and it's when emotions are filtering through me, they're not my emotions, they're not all emotions that I can even distinguish, because I've never felt anything quite like this in any other place before. I saw an apparition of a young man, maybe 18, 19 years old. He looked to be about 5'9", very small build, but very, very fair, very blonde, blue-eyed, and very cheery, and he was running up the stairs. And I got the same energy from this same young man right around one of the guns. And I'm getting a vision of someone being shot at that gun that you were talking about, and then another man literally just pushing his body off and taking over the gun. I got a lot of almost like past life regressions in here, where I was actually pushed into that time frame and seeing what was going on.